Hi everyone, I'm Miss Liz from the New Lenox Library. Welcome to Art Club. Today we're going to be making a beautiful watercolor painting. It's going to be a pine tree set on a hill with some beautiful sky in the background. And if you registered for Art Club at the library, you will have already picked up your supply kit. You can go ahead and open that now. If you didn't register and you're watching this video, you can use your own supplies and follow along. So you're gonna find in your kit a piece of watercolor paper, some watercolor paints, and a little piece, I don't know where mine went, a little piece of oil pastel crayon. Then something from home that you're going to need is a paper towel and a cup of water so you can clean your paintbrush. All right, let's get started. So let me show you some samples that I made. I've got this one and this one. So ultimately, when I was trying out our samples, I was really hoping for a little bit of a lighter blue on the bottom. That is supposed to represent a nice pretty blue, but it's also snow. I got a little carried away practicing, but that's the fun thing about art. It's gonna come out different each time. And then our background, that kind of looks like either like a sunset or it could be the northern lights. So depending on what colors you end up with, that's how you can describe your painting. So I'll tell you along the way some different techniques. We'll use the oil pastel crayon to outline where we want our tree and the trunk. And I even put some down here on the bottom so it wouldn't be just one straight amount of blue, and the crayon and the darker colors gave it a little bit of a dimension. And then I'll just talk about it a little bit more as we go along. So let's go ahead and get our crayon and start looking at our watercolor paper and decide where we want to put our tree. And I don't know, I think you could make it a short fat tree or a long skinny tree, but try to take up a good portion of your paper. You're gonna have to press super hard and try to have a nice straight line. You can tell by looking at this, some of my lines are a little bit crooked. That's okay too, it gives it character. So I'm going to pause a moment, aim the camera down at the paper, and we can draw our trees on together. All right, so let's get ready to draw our pine tree on there. You're really just gonna make a nice triangle. So apply some pressure and just make your triangle. I understand that it's going to be a little bit difficult to see as you're putting it on there because your paper is white, your crayon is white, but you can look real close. You can turn on your light and maybe you can see a little bit better with some light on your picture. All right, so I'm going over mine 2 times just to try to have that nice line of the oil pastel. After you have that done, you're going to draw a tree trunk down here at the bottom. So just add a nice rectangle and maybe go over that a couple of times, like so. I think you can kind of see mine. Let me turn it this way. There you go. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw a hill. So we're gonna do up to the triangle here and up to the triangle here. So don't go through your triangle, otherwise you're gonna have a big white line where your paper you're gonna see it through there because your paint's not going to go onto the tree. So here's my triangle, and I know it's upside down for you, and I'm gonna go maybe right about here. Because I almost think that I want more grass than I want sky. And you can decide which you prefer. Do you want more grass or more sky? So let's go ahead and draw our hill. Just a little arch. Maybe go over that twice. And then you can also draw a couple of different little arches down here where your snow in the hill is going to be. And that will give it some dimension. So I'm just gonna do a couple little swoops. And I'm also gonna take my crayon and just lightly color a little spots on there. Your paint will probably go through some of those little light spots, but that's gonna also help it give a little bit of dimension. All right, so now we are ready to paint. So get your water and open up your watercolors. I think we should start with our tree first. So if you'll notice, my tree is not just straight green. I have actually added some yellow in there. You can see, you're seeing a glare. So let me pause here. All right, so let's get started painting. I think what we need to do is take a little bit of our nice clean water and put it on your tree. Just a little bit. We don't want to have it be too wet, but this is going to help us apply our paint. So I just did a little bit from here to here. So then we're going to take our wet brush and we're going to get some green paint. And now we're going to put it over that section where we put our water. If you end up with where it's too dark, let me see if I can. You can always take, like if you get really dark, let me see here. So that might be too dark for some of us. You can get some water on your brush and spread it out, just like that. And it's easier when you figure out that you have too dark of paint in that spot. Try to spread it out with your water and thin it out right away. If you wait too long, then you're gonna really struggle with it. So I'm gonna add a little bit more water on here. Get some more green. Mine is a little wet right here, so I'm gonna get some more paint and go over that. I added a little bit too much water. And if you end up adding way too much water on there, you can take your paper towel and you can just dab a little bit of that off. And as you can tell, where we have our oil pastel crayon, it resists the paint. So it's easy to stay within that line to give us our triangle shaped pine tree. So I'm gonna add a little bit more. And if I'm going too fast for you, go ahead and pause the video and then you can catch up. And you can see here where mine is looking a little funny. That is where I've got my crayon there, and I'm just going over it, and it's resisting the paint. All right, so that looks okay. That looks pretty good. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm going to clean my paintbrush in the water, and make sure it's nice and clean by dabbing it on your paper towel. And then I'm going to put some yellow on the tree. So get your paintbrush wet, go into your yellow paint, and just try to put some in a few different spots. It's gonna give it that really pretty look. And if you put too much on there, go ahead, dab it off, or spread it out with your water. And it doesn't have to go everywhere. Just look on your tree, see what you like, and where you want to put it. All right, so here is what mine looks like so far. Looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna clean my paintbrush and then add some brown here on our rectangle for our tree trunk. There we go. And if you want, you can try to get a little bit of extra paint on your paintbrush and maybe make a little couple lines, because we know our tree trunks aren't always one solid color. And there we go. So let's go ahead, clean our brushes again, and we'll start on our snowy, grassy area. I keep calling it grassy, but it's really supposed to be snow. So I'm gonna try a little bit harder this time to do a lighter blue on there. If you are a fan of the darker blue, that is perfectly okay. But I'm going to try to do a little bit lighter. So I'm going to add some water to my paper, a little bit at a time. I'm gonna try to find where my hill starts, way up here, and I'm gonna add a little water, spread that out, and then I'm going to take some blue paint and put it on there. So just watch for your little hill that you drew on there with your oil pastel. But if you end up going over the line into the sky, that's okay. We can work on that later and get that fixed up. So this is gonna be kind of like we're going to layer. So if you don't get it exactly how you want it the first time around, just keep painting, and as it dries, we can go in and add some more color. So if you see, I've got some marks right here where the paint is resisting, and that's where I drew on there with the oil pastel. So it would give it the look of some snow hills. I'm gonna do this other side. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop right here. You start working on your hills. If you want it to be light, add your water on there first. And let's check back with each other once we get our snowy hill done. All right, I've got most of it filled in here, like that. I'll turn it over again so you can see it. And I'm going to try to add a little bit darker spots to make it look more hilly. So I'm gonna just take a tiny bit of water and a little bit more paint, and then just add in a few spots, and then you can play around with it. Add a little extra water if you think it's too dark and noticeable. There. So let's start on our sky. And once again, I recommend adding the water on your paper in small sections at a time. And we're gonna start by putting purple on our paper. Give it that beautiful sunset or northern light look. And once we get the purple on, we can add some red. All right. So let me show you this again. So try not to get too dark of purple on there, because our northern lights look a little bit more lighter and blended together. So I'm adding water and purple paint. So go ahead and do that, and let's check back in a few minutes and we'll add our red together. All right, here's my purple. I'm going to start with a clean brush, and I'm going to add little bits of red. But we don't want it to be too red, so be open to wetting your brush again and spreading that out. Look how beautiful that looks. It can go quite far. When you're spreading that red out, it looks like a beautiful pink. All right, so go ahead and do that part, and then we'll start up again, and we might even add some blue in there. All right, I think I like the way mine looks, but I'm gonna add a little bit of the blue in there to give it more of this kind of look. Or you can make it like this. So you have your clean brush, get some blue, and like I said before, if it's too dark of a blue, you wet your brush and you just spread it out. And there you have it. And the nice part is the bottom part is dry. So if you want to add a little bit more color or dimension to your bottom part, you can go ahead and do that. And then once your top dries, you decide if you want to change anything on there, you can as well. All right, I hope you're happy with your painting. I'm sure it looks beautiful. Thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to post your painting on our social media page so I can see what a beautiful masterpiece that you created. Thanks for watching. See you next time.